Hi guys, I'm Dominic Paratto. This is my business partner Mike Ross with Paratto Ross Real Estate, and we're here with a little chat for you guys today.
Yeah, today we're sitting down with Mayor Regovich of City of Willowick, and we just want to let you guys know what's going on in the neighborhood, so kind of know your neighborhood, right? So you know what's going on in Willowick, and then down the road, Willoughby, City of Menor, anything like that. So when you're making your housing decisions, you know what community may fit best for you. And, so with that, introducing Mayor Regovich here, and we're going to roll right into it.
So from a real estate perspective, we've seen that there's been a big resurgence in home prices in Willowick over the last year. Is there anything that has come up on your end that you see can contribute to that or has contributed to that?
Sure. First of all, thanks for having me. I think this is a great idea. And we've all lived through the last 2 years of pandemic, which not necessarily has been bad for any of the cities around here, especially financially. But in Willowick, in particular, we've had a lot of home sales. We track those at each meeting. I give an update of how many homes are for sale, how many sold. But I go back to, I believe it was 2017 or 2018 when the county put together a program called the Better Flip. Mm-hmm. They reached out to people at Auburn, the students at Auburn, to take a 1950s bungalow and modernize it, give it an open concept, master bedroom to walk-in closet. And they happened to choose Willowick as that house to be done. Spent a considerable amount of money on it, and I can tell you that it's been a great success. That house sold for about $180,000, which was the high mark of Willowick for a bungalow.
They did a great job on that too. It was gorgeous.
And to this day, every time I drive by, I look at it and say, so we always competed in the past. How am I going to get an appraisal for a house that high in Willowick or Wycliffe or Willoughby, whoever had those 50s bungalows? And it's always been concerned when I go out to have businesses come. They look at household income and those kind of things. Who's buying a house at that level? So that kind of upped the game for us. It made it so that these houses can have the ability to put some money into their houses and be able to get it back, which was always a concern from before that. But then the pandemic hits and housing goes through the roof. Mm-hmm. So now it's not unheard of to see a bungalow go for $190,000, $185,000, and getting those things that they want to make it comfortable to live in today. Absolutely. What people are looking for. So I look at that as a kind of a catalyst that put that all together, and now we have those comps that are so important.
For sure.
And it opens up other housing and other business to come to Willowick and be able to sustain itself. This way I know we're not dying on the vine, so to speak.
Absolutely. Right. So, absolutely. That's awesome to hear, living in Willoughby for a while and, being neighboring city, I love seeing you guys succeed. But along those lines, so, I know there was previously a few new construction projects in Willowick, but in terms of housing, but, are, any new construction for housing projects coming along or repurposing, renovation, commercial or residential in that matter, come down the pipeline for the city?
Sure. So we're seeing that Shoreline Crossings, which started in 2006, I believe. Mm-hmm. Then the housing market struck in 2008 and 9, kind of slowed things down there. That is completely built out. Larimar, which is a community across from Shoregate on the lake, they're getting near the end of that. Even though I think they're building some of spec, they're confident they're going to sell those remaining condos and stuff in there. We've had what they call the Rose Mansion on Crest Haven. They knocked that old from 1930s mansion down. Have two houses going right on the lake, probably close to $1 million each. With people, and they're sold and being built, and one's close to finish, one's framed in. So those kind of things are happening, as well as new influx of business. Shoregate Shopping Center built a new strip. This has a Chipotle and other things moving in. There's a restaurant going on Vine Street in the old Walker Hardware building that is going to be a restaurant bar with an outdoor patio space, which is something that Willowick is lacking. We have plenty of fast food, plenty of drive-through, and those kind of things, but we need a place where we can go have lunch, sit down, have a meal, and those are the kind of things that it's exciting for me to see in a relatively short amount of time.
Yeah, absolutely.
And anything in government speak, if it's under 5 years, it's pretty quick.
Right.
It's
So,
lightning speed.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's frustrating sometimes, but when you're dealing with public money and you're dealing with how you're going to finance those kind of things, luckily these are all privately financed, and there's the availability to get it done. So.
Yeah. So you mentioned the lakefront. In fact, Willowick is one of the few Lake County cities that has significant lakefront property, residential, et cetera. What kind of advantages do you think that gives to your residents?
Well, Willowick's a great city on a great lake is our motto. I always looked at it as my job is to get you there. You got to get to the lake. The biggest asset we have is out there, and not only for Willowick but all of Lake County. And I took the job as mayor knowing that I need to exploit that asset. We're one of the few counties that owns about 12 and a half acres right on the lake. And we've been trying to add more if we can, if it makes sense financially. But we finally finished a study, a TLCI grant we got from NOACA. And those are all long acronyms. I can explain them, but you probably won't do any good here. But it's a 5-county area that they look at those kind of projects, feasibility, how to get cars in and out, how to get buses in and out. Yeah. It's multimodal, some of the things we talk about. And with that study, the county also put in money into that study to see how feasible would retail be under. So what we found is more diverse housing, increased housing in like condos and higher end apartments. Can go in that area, but also mixed-use land. So we want to increase the footprint of the lake to have access for all the people to go down to the lake, even by wheelchair and all those things, steps, anything way to do it. That we have to do it those ways nowadays, and so you can get your toes wet in the lake. Yeah. That is something that we don't have here in Northeast Ohio, or very much anywhere in Ohio, if you think about it. There's very few spots that you can have access to the lake. Also, having a restaurant there where you can have dinner, a drink, a coffee, and watch the sunset. We don't have those kind of opportunities around, and this is exciting that the plans are just approved by NOACA, so we can go out and start looking for development, and that's a project could be phased. So it affects Lakeshore Boulevard, where we want to take Lakeshore Boulevard down to a true boulevard and do what we call a road diet. We want to make it from 5 lanes to 3 lanes, the roundabout, so you don't stop traffic. But we open those outside lanes up to biking, walking, those kind of things, so anybody can come in and be able to get there any way possible.
Yeah. It's like the whole family can spend a day at the lake, basically. Yeah.
And access is, to me, the most important. No matter where we live along the lake, and I hear a lot of people compare us to Chicago, and Chicago has all this great. Chicago started their lake planning in like 1917.
Yeah,
we're starting ours in this area. Yeah, so they give you the time frame of the government. But it's those kind of things that we have to be mindful, so that moving forward, beyond us, we can have those things put in place. So we look through them in each city too, in Lake County, to where do we have that opportunity to get to the lake, and we've got to start exploiting those opportunities.
Absolutely, absolutely. So along those lines, the 3 cities that share a border and share lake frontage there. So I see you and Mayor Morley of East Lake and Mayor Fiala of Willoughby frequently working together on projects. Whether Vine Street or lakefront or anything like that. What benefit does that bring to the the citizens of like the 3 cities? Actually, not just yours. I think it's a pretty cool concept.
So, yeah, it's the future way of doing business as a city. And in the past, people would say, "Oh, I have it. It's like you're on an island. You're going to take care of yourself." Well, we're all buying expensive trucks, expensive equipment, things you don't use that often, and say, "Now I have this piece of equipment. Hey, why don't you just use it when you need it? Now use this piece." Mm-hmm. So that's how it starts. But now the same TLCI grant, we have the 3 cities plus Lake Tram Bus down the Vine Street corridor right to downtown Willoughby. So if you can imagine that lakefront development having access to downtown Willoughby without having to use your car, without having to, find a parking spot in downtown Willoughby. You can get on public transportation, a loop, whatever it ends up being. So you can access anywhere along Vine Street. But also that opens up to other things we need as far as housing wise. Our seniors need a place they don't want to leave their neighborhood. They don't want to leave where they have owned a house for 50 years and move out to assisted living or just a senior living facility. Mm-hmm. So if we could put those along the way too, then they have access to all the stores, any place to get a drugstore, restaurants, grocery stores, without having to own a car. It gives them the sense of independence. We have, the possibilities are endless there. And if we do that now, if we make that Vine Street corridor similar streetscape, similar lighting, put features along the way, we're hoping that to infill that with so much residential and retail establishments. We can't just fill it with full retail without bringing customers, especially with what's happening today. What are they all looking for? A pickup window. With the pandemic, everybody wants it. So the way retail business is done is different now. So you have to be kind of mindful how we're going to do that moving forward. But then it feeds all those communities. And together we're bigger than we are just, I'm 14,400 residents in Willowick. But if you add Willoughby and Eastlake, now with the Mayor of Wycliffe we've been talking to, Willoughby Hills, we open up all of Western Lake County. When you go for grant money and things like that, they look at how many people does that affect rather than the 14,400 in Willowick. It affects, 50, 60,000 now. So you're more apt to get grant money. You're more apt to get those things done when you have the power of all those cities working together. And I just see that as the wave of the future. How everything costs so much money now. Everything is way expensive. It's hard to find firemen and policemen. So simple supply and demand is you're going to have to pay them more to serve your city. How do we do it together and make sure it's most cost effective and our tax dollars go the farthest?
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously we've gone through a number of things here. Any other news goings on with you and or the city that you'd like to share with us today?
Well, the city has some very good news again with the new businesses coming. Starbucks put a plan in, and if you would have asked me 6 years ago if we'd get a Starbucks, I'd say I don't think so. But now we are. But I also have my name in the run for county commissioner to kind of take these concepts to the county level, to look at access to the lake at a county level. How does that look so that our quality of life in Lake County is better? So why do people want to live here? The biggest things we deal with at the county level is the same as the city level. Is we tend to lose our talent. Kids get out of college, they don't come back to Lake County. They stay in Columbus or wherever they want to go to explore the world. So it keeps our average age up a little bit higher, but we want to keep our talent local and attract business. There's a lot of big business out there, believe it or not, that are looking for facilities, manufacturing, and those kind of things. So if it's done correctly, if you work with the schools to provide programs to provide these businesses the skilled workers and the things that they need, then I don't have to work so hard trying to give a tax break to a company to bring them into Lake County. Hopefully they'll line up at the door and say, you have everything I need: water, power, manpower, and those kind of things.
River, lake, everything.
And as a mayor, it would be my job to give them that quality of life in my city and want them to buy that house in the city. And it keeps all the real estate agents happy too, because they're going to turn around houses and looking for new opportunities. So
right.
That's kind of a kind of big picture of what I'm passionate about when I see about going forward.
Well, and it sounds like you're working with those other cities already is kind of pointing you in that direction where you like you said, more people together is going to get more results, get things done quicker.
I think most people, what they don't see behind the scenes is we have a group. It's Lake County Mayors and Managers Association. We meet monthly. And when we meet with those people, we all talk well. We all get along well. We all solve problems through the pandemic. We met twice a week for a while on the computer and on phone calls to stay updated, to make decisions as a county that not necessarily the state dictated or the federal government dictated. There were times where we said, no, we're not going to do that right now. Let's wait. and we had a consensus, and we were lucky to have the people elected in this county to run these cities come to a consensus. And to give you an example, during the fireworks in 2020, who's going to have fireworks? Well, we're not. We're canceling. We're going to go. We're like, well, the one person that was going to have fireworks is going to be inundated with people throughout the county.
Yeah.
So we decided, it's better off if nobody has them or we all have them. And out of safety, we said, okay, let's nobody have them for now. And it was tough to put it together logistically because of the fireworks manufacturer and the companies that did it weren't sure if they were able to do it. So we made those kind of decisions to keep the county safe or give people peace of mind. We didn't know what we were going through back then. No one's ever, elected now. It's had to navigate those waters. And it was nice to do it as a group and to get the consensus. And even when we thought they were kind of going off the rails, like we have to get 8,000 beds ready. I'm like, where? They're looking at open up old schools. I'm like, how many do we have now in the hospital? 12. Well, let's hold on a sec. Let's see how it plays out a little bit. We know with the facilities we can get that together. So those are the kind of things we made. And, we're lucky to have very good people working in our county offices that, we're quite frankly open to our suggestions and open to have dialogue with us and say, and we made some common sense decisions, and I think, and here we are today, and I think we did rather well going through.
You guys did a fantastic job.
Yeah,
and it seems like what you've been doing, because I've known you for a few years now. So, what you've been doing in the city of Willowick is absolutely scalable to the county level. I mean, like just the working together, the overall concepts that you and I have talked about for years. I mean, it's absolutely scalable at that county level, and I think you're going to do fantastic if you're afforded the opportunity.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
But yeah, Mayor, we appreciate your time.
Oh, no problem. This is fun.
Yeah, and it's definitely something that's great for us to know. It's exciting for us to have and be able to give to your current and future residents, when we're talking to them about some of the things that are upcoming. So we really appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks so
Good to
much.
see you.